Good morning and welcome to another Moho Monday. This is the time of the week that I really get my creative juices going to create for the week. And I welcome you if this is your first time watching. My name is Erica from Me to You Paper Crafts. And I love creating with paper, and I absolutely love our Stampin' Up! Products. So you can find my website at ericaedney.com, and you can feel free to shop with me. You can go directly to my online store at ericaedney.stampinup.net. And in the when I post these up to YouTube, the video description will give you all of the necessary links. So welcome. I'm hoping some people join me this morning, and if not, you can always catch the replay. So this morning I am going to be working with Timeless Tulips. This has been around for a while. It is currently in our annual catalog, and I do suspect it will be retiring. And if you love bundles with punches, you have a stamp set and a punch where you can punch out this beautiful tulip and some leaves to go with it. So I thought I would bring this out. And I've decided to use the beautiful Flowering Tulips Designer Series paper. This is in our mini catalog, and this will retire at the end of May, I believe. And this is one of the papers that I'm going to be using today to create our card. And I'm using a card sketch. So when I turn the camera down, I will show you the card sketch, and then we'll get started. So welcome, Sharon. Nice of you to see me. Thank you so much for sharing my video. I really appreciate that. And I have someone else who's watching. Please say hello. I'm just going to refresh my laptop here so I can watch any other comments that come in. I'm turning off my volume again. And here I am live. Let's just pull that up bigger. So nice of you to join this morning. There we go. Okay, so I'm just enjoying my cup of coffee this morning. I hope you bring coffee. If you're watching, you can just sit back and relax and watch. And I always send out a post ahead of time, especially if we're doing a card sketch, so that if you wanted to craft along with me, then I give you all of the measurements, and then you can just decide on the papers, stamps, and ink that you want to use. Okay, so let's move the camera down to my desktop and turn on some lights. Lights, camera, action. So I'll switch my camera around and down to desktop. Yes, I always have a lot going on my desktop. I always have multiple projects on the go. And I also use my computer from here as well. And see, you can see my keyboard here. Let's get that out of the way. Give myself some room here. Facebook doesn't really allow you to set up much ahead of time because you have to go live so you can see your camera. Yeah, so there we go. Okay. Let's have a sip of coffee. All right. Good morning, Carol. How was your weekend? Yes, first day of spring. Can you believe it? And it's overcast here today. It would have been nice to be greeted with some sunshine for a spring day, but that's okay. I have a beautiful fresh cut daffodils on my kitchen table that grow in my garden. So that inspired me today to work with tulips. So this is the stamp set and the punch. This we have had for a while. I'm suspecting it will retire at the end of this annual catalog. So if you like what you see, you might want to pick that up. We are having our retiring sale coming up soon. a lot of our products retire from the annual catalog so that they can make room for new products. And then there's a lot of products that carry over from last year. If they were new last year, they generally carry over. And along with the retiring products list will also be some savings as well. So I will post that out on my Facebook feed here to let you know when that's happening. Okay. So here's our card sketch. Now you'll notice in this card sketch, these are strips of paper that measure 1 by 4. So what I did was I have my card base, so it's a regular card base. I decided to use white. Okay, so I have my card base, and let's just give that a burnish. Okay, so there's my card base. Excuse me. And then I decided to cut this beautiful tulip paper, 4 by 5 1/4. That's a typical layer to start your card with, 4 by 5 1/4. And then I'm going to cut this into strips. So I need 3 strips that are 1 inches wide. So it's 1 by 4. So that's the first thing I am going to do, is to cut these strips. So let's bring out my trimmer. And I'm going to keep these in order because it's going to end up making a pattern. So I'm going to start from the top. So I love our trimmer because it also has a ruler on the right hand side to the right of the track, and so you can do a lot of your measurements over here. So I want this to be 1 inch. So that's 1, and then another 1. So that's 2, and then another 1. That's 3. Okay, and then you have this larger piece that will fit on the bottom. Okay, now the thing to note is that when you're going to put this on your card base, you're going to leave a tiny, tiny little gap in between so that it shows that it's, you know, pieces of paper. And I've cut everything else that I need. So this is our card here. Now, if you find it easier, another thing you can do to glue these on is that you could actually glue these onto a separate layer of 4 by 5 1/4, because that way it's easier to glue them because you'll have even edges rather than trying to line them up on here like this. Might be a little bit more difficult. So I often will mount these on here. And the other great thing about having this extra layer is that you could tie ribbon around it before you actually put it on to your card base. Okay, so that's a great way to do that, is to have this extra layer. So that wasn't included in the instructions, but whenever I'm doing layering pieces and I want to use ribbon, I often add this extra layer on there. Okay, so I'm going to start gluing these on. Let's pull out my silicone craft sheet here and my tape runner. Now, I want to leave some space. No, I'm not. I'm filling this. No, what am I doing now? I got to think about this now. 4 by 5 1/4. Let me just lay this out here. I'm hoping I'm not going to be able to fit any spaces in here, though. That's the only issue. But I could go above and beyond. Let's just figure out how I'm going to do this. So I'm going to do that. And then that. You just want ever so tiny a gap. And I'm going to do that. Okay. So what will happen is these papers will overlap this base piece, but that's okay. I'm not worried about that. So I'm just going to figure this out here. At least this layer underneath helps me get the edges even. Okay, So I kind of like the look of that. Now I just want to make sure this is going to fit on the card base and leave a tiny bit of a gap at the top. Yeah, I think that's going to work. Okay, so I'm actually going to pull in my other craft sheet now that I've got that lined up on there. I just put a brand new refill in my tape runner. So did everyone have a nice weekend? Did anybody do anything different for a change? Probably stayed away from the downtown area because we have more trucks coming or have been here. Don't know why. Don't know why they're protesting still. I guess they have nothing else to do. My husband was doing research during the week. He wants a new barbecue, and he finally made his decision. And people have a funny way of communicating, you know. So he finds this wicker and patio store that we have in town. It's just a great store, and they have an amazing selection of barbecues and barbecue everything. And so he went down there, talked to the guy, decided on the barbecue he wanted to buy. And he said, I just want to go home, talk it over with my wife, and then I will be back tomorrow. So the guy said, okay, no problem. So he comes home. I really don't care what kind of barbecue he buys. So that discussion was really short. And then, so he goes back again and ready to buy it. And he says, oh, I'm really sorry, but we don't even have them in the store. They're in the warehouse. Well, for heaven's sakes, why didn't he tell him that to begin with? I don't know. So, yeah, there you go. All right, so there we have them. So you see your little tiny gaps in there. And I'm hoping this fits nicely onto the card. Yes, we've got space top and bottom. So that worked out really nicely. Okay, so at this point now I could decide on whether I want to do some ribbon. But I think I'm going to work on my layers first just to see if I need that. Okay, so this is the piece. So these are the pieces here. The a layer is 3.5 by 2 3/4. And then you've got 3 1/4 by 2.5 are your layers. So I'm picking up one of the colors in this paper, which is Blackberry Bliss, and a piece of our basic white. Okay, so I'm going to build my flowers on here. So what I thought is I was thinking I would just stamp some tulips in the background and then punch out one to put on the top. Now I know this is a very small area, but I'm going to maybe stamp a few tulips along here with their stems and go from there. So there's lots of colors in this paper. You can't believe it. So I'm going to do a Poppy Parade one. This is just the sweetest little tulip. And I've got my cleaning pad here. I need to clean between colors. I'll just set that on my little tray here. Okay. And then let's close up the Poppy Parade. Let's do one in, say, Rich Razzleberry. I haven't used Rich Razzleberry in quite a while, and it's really a pretty color. let's do a rich razzleberry. Who else has joined us this morning? Oh, Carol, hi. How are you? Okay, so there's your rich razzleberry. Look at the detail in these. You really just need to stamp them. You can also stamp them on the same colored cardstock as well. And then I want to pull in this gorgeous grape color. And we'll do one like that. Okay, just 3 little tulips. Okay. Now, the colors in the paper are our 2 newest colors, Evening Evergreen and Soft Succulent. So I might do the lighter color. And then the stamp set gives you 2 different stems. One is a little bit thicker than the other. Yes, no, maybe so. No, I don't think the width matters. I think it's the shape. It's the shape of the... Now let's get a scrap piece of paper. And I'm going to turn these sideways, I think, so I can see the very end of the tulip. Actually, I'll make, okay, hang on. I think I'll do this one. And then I think I'll do the more curvy one. It's really quite curvy. Okay. And then we've got a couple of 3 different leaves in the set. So I'm going to do a combination. One of the leaves one of the leaves you can punch out with the punch. It's the big fat leaf here, which is this one. So I'm just going to use these other 2 leaves just to give it some different look. And I'll use the same green, of course. I don't know, that's too big a block. Let's try this block. Let's try this block. Okay, that's better. Okay, so let's turn my leaves around, my flowers around. And let's start stamping. I used this set a lot last year, and I remember making a little Easter basket. I'm sure I did it as a Facebook Live. I can't remember though. I did this little Easter basket where when you punch out the leaves and you put them one per side of the little, it was a tiny little Easter basket, and you put one of these tulips on each side of the basket. Oh my gosh, it was so cute. So all of these leaves are kind of gonna crisscross. And if you turn them up, excuse me, excuse me, ladies. If you reverse the stamp, you get a different shape, which is really cool. Try and go up between those 2 tulips there and overlap the leaves. I love the overlapping of the leaves. Oh my gosh, look how pretty that is. Oh, that's so pretty all by itself. Maybe I don't even need the big tulip on top. Well, we'll do it and we'll see what happens. But that is so pretty just like that. Okay. So let's just set that aside to dry. Now let's do the bigger tulip. So I have it here. Look how well loved it is. Excuse me, I'm going to take a sip of my coffee. Carolyn, never worry about popping in late. You get to it when you get to it. I know life can be busy. Well, it doesn't have to be busy for me. I could just be concentrating on something else, and that makes me late. What am I looking for? So I want another color. I didn't bring another color. Let me think. So I've got these colors. Oh, maybe I should do a nice orange tulip for the focal tulip. Okay, let me just grab my... Oh my gosh, I've got this frog in my throat. You know what? I am such a goof. I was saying how I was going to do... What do I have on my kitchen table? I have daffodils on my table, and because the daffodils on my table, oh, I'm going to do a daffodil card. Well, what the heck? I'm working with tulips here. I picked out really the wrong stand set, but that's okay because I wanted to use this beautiful tulip paper. See? Okay, and my pumpkin pie ink pad looks like it's got some disease on it, but those are all of the drops of ink, and I tried to smush them in, and they I don't know, they wouldn't smush in for whatever reason. That's okay, it still works, and it gives a variation in color, which kind of is a happy mistake. Don't you love happy mistakes? Oh, I need a scrap piece of white, because I want to punch out this tulip. Now, whenever you have a punch, you want to look at where the tulip is, and you're punching it like this. So when I'm stamping, it would be silly to stamp it right smack in the middle. So I'm going to stamp it over to this side here, because you need to be able to line it up in the punch. So let's just stamp it right here. Oh, look at that. That's so pretty. All right, so now I should be able to punch that out. So you may have to angle it. Watch your little white edges all the way around. And then squeeze gently and then punch. Okay. So there's that tulip. And guess what I'm going to put on that tulip? Who can guess what's going to go on the tulip? Okay, now I need some leaves. So I'm going to do this leaf. So again, see how this leaf is in the punch? Well, you got to turn it the right way around, Erica. So there, you see how it matches up? Like that? Okay, and you want to again stamp this along the edge of the card so that you can get it in there. Okay, so maybe I will change up the color now for the green. Let's use the darker green to get some contrast going. So I'm going to punch one here. Okay, look how beautiful that green is. And let's punch that. So again, I'm looking at my edges, adjusting it a bit, and then punch. Okay, there's one leaf, and I'm going to do a couple more, and then I can turn them upside down. Okay, and maybe I'll just do, while I'm doing it, I might as well just do one more. It'll fit right here. I mean, you could always stamp these other leaves, and I have done that before. Stamp them and then just fussy cut them out if you want to get some different leaves in your project. Okay. Oh, I need that green still for the stem. So let's see how this works. Okay. I haven't used this punch in a while. It's feeling a bit stiff. I better give it some exercise. Yeah, so if you're planning to make any Easter baskets, the tulips make a beautiful decoration for your Easter baskets. Hang on, I need another stem. So what I thought I would do is I might fussy cut this stem out. Yes, ladies, I'm going to fussy cut it out. So let's get this piece of paper. Okay. So I think it's safe to glue. I'm going to glue this piece onto here. Okie doke. Now, while we're, excuse me, I always like to give you some other ideas. So while we're talking about, ribbon, I was saying how I could wrap the ribbon around this larger piece, but you could also wrap some ribbon now around this, and don't add anything else to this. Just add a nice little ribbon here with a little bow here, and then you could add some little embellishments at the top. And that's maybe what I will do if this tulip doesn't work out. So I'm just kind of experimenting with my designs. And so this is how I end up. I don't know if you saw my Facebook post over the weekend where I took a picture of a pile of scrap stuff. And it wasn't really, well, it's scraps, right? It was bits of paper, but it was punched out things or die cut things that didn't really work on another project. So I had a whole bunch of stuff that I had done for other cards and didn't like it and threw it in a pile. And I get so excited about having this pile that I decide to just grab stuff from the pile and make other cards. And so I did this little video so you could see all the different cards that I made with scraps. It's so fun to just sort of, I have card bases set out and then I just start designing all of them at once. And I just pull in some whatever other materials that I need. And it was so much fun. And I'm liking this on here crooked. Look at that. Okay, so let's see what happens if I decide, ooh, I'm not liking it already. It's going to hide those pretty little tulips. Oh, we might not be doing this tulip like I had planned, ladies. What do you think? I don't think I like that. It's going to hide unless I offset it. And then these leaves are going to, okay, let's just cut this out and see. This may end up on another project. Who knows? Where are my paper snips? Let me know what you think so far. Do you like it just like this? Without this tulip on here? I could do something really funky and put it down at the bottom. I don't know. But we'll cut this out. We'll carry on and just see what happens. Anyway, so the barbecue that we're getting is one of those pellet ones. You don't use propane, you use these pellets. I remember years and years ago when we were in Alberta visiting my husband's uncle, who owns a, I'm going to call it a farming equipment business. And he also had these, the barbecue is called a Traeger. He had these Traegers, and he had nothing but good stuff to say about it. And he said to Phil, you got to get yourself one of these barbecues. And how many years ago was that? Why am I being picky about the top? The tulip's going to go over that anyway. All right, so there's our stem. Okay, I have, what if you way offset it? Okay, that's Sharon without and Carol without the big tulip. Yeah, I kind of think that, unless I offset it way off. I don't think that's going to work either. No, I don't like that. Yeah, okay, ladies. Anyway, I showed you how to use the punch, if you didn't already know. And so we're going to leave it like this. Okay, now to ribbon or not to ribbon. So let's pull in some ribbon options. I have, let's see, colors that will go with that. I don't think I like that sparkly ribbon. I still have this yellow ribbon. And I have these ribbons. And I do have a Highland Heather ribbon. Okay, here's some choices. You can help me make a choice here. Okay, so I can't glue this on yet. So, and do we want a greeting? Let's see, what are our greetings on here? I've got a hello. Oh, happy Easter, happy spring, happy, happy everything. I might put that on the inside. I need some Easter cards. Happy Easter, happy spring, happy, happy everything. I like that. Maybe I'll put that on the inside. Okay. All right. So what can we do here? We could do ribbon. So this is going to go on here like this. Oh, I love this layering in the background. It's a good sketch. So I could layer this on here. Tying a bow with this is too big for a card. So, and you know I love bows, okay? Then I have, or I could, yeah, without a bow, I don't think I'm going to use that ribbon. Okay, I have this beautiful Highland Heather ribbon. So we could do that and then tie a bow, or we could do, no, I think I like it here better. Okay, or I've also got these two greens here. Okay, so there are some options. These tie really nice little bows. And I'm just, and I have a yellow. That might be too bright, I don't know. So yellow, it's another option. The other thing I'm thinking of is just some simple twine. I love our baker's twine. I could just wrap some simple baker's twine. I like to do this. So I start on the back and then I do this, and then I can tie a little bow on top, just a little bit of twine. Okay, so there are the options. What do you think? So yes, ribbon. Okay, so we've decided without the big tulip. Okay. Hi, Christine. Welcome. We're just trying to decide on ribbon here. I'm kind of leaning towards the thread. And I'm going to put a little bow offset right there. And then I'm going to put a few little embellishments on there. Twine. Carol says ribbon, twine. I'm kind of liking the twine, Carol. I don't know that I like this see-through on here because of the, I don't know, it contrasts with the leaves, I think. So I think I'm going to do the twine. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I do my twine. So what I do is this is going to be stuck to the card anyway, so I put my glue on. Like so. Okay, then I start at the back. I just stick it on, and then I start twisting it. I want to make it narrow on this side because that's where I'm going to put my ribbon. And then I stick it down to the back. Whoops, a daisy. Stick it down to the back, and then I snip it. Now, if you wanted to reinforce this and make sure it's not going to go anywhere, I very often just use regular old Scotch tape. I'll just stick some tape on there. Or you could put on your tear and tape. And tear and tape might have been a better idea because this is covering my glue. Yeah, I should have thought of that. Tear and tape is a better option. And oh my goodness, it's a Stampin' Up! Product. Can I get this off now? Isn't it fun to see mistakes happen? Just because. Okay. Yep, Erica, that was silly. Tear and tape would be better. This is a cheap tape. I had a roll lying around. I thought, oh, Erica, you might as well just use it up, but I don't like this tape. I like the Scotch kind of invisible tape better. There we go. Okay, forget that tip for that. Okay, so tear and tape's better because it's got adhesive on it on the back. Just take that off. Okay. All right, so before I do that, I need to do this. So this these little strips, you could use this with any of your designer series paper and just maintain the pattern. Okay, now I have to make my little twine bow. Yes, that's typical. I'm on camera and I can't tie my bow. There we go. I just grabbed that end with my teeth. Okay, and then I'm going to grab glue dots. So I sent an email out to all of my customers yesterday. If you need any little thing, like any of your basic supplies, I'm putting in a workshop order later today. And you can save on shipping. Whenever you have items under $100, you can save on shipping by combining it with a workshop order. So I'm kind of doing that every month. Okay, time for some embellishments. I think we need to do some Wink of Stella on the tulips. Just because we can. I think I'm not going to wink the whole thing. I'm just going to enhance these little stripes in here. Boy, you have to be really gentle when you give this a little squeeze. Last time I squeezed too hard and oh my God, a whole bunch came out. I hate wasting it. Okay. And let me see. What kind of embellishments do we have? We have these in color ones. I've almost finished this package, but we've got some of these nice green ones in here. And we've got these little purple ones. And some green. Oh, I like the green ones. Maybe we'll add some green ones to this. What do you think? These are very pretty. You need something to fill out this space up here. Okay, ladies, there's our card. So what I would do on the inside is when I cut my paper, I did end up with another, little strip. I could cut this down and put this inside. Okay, that's one option. Or you could stamp some tulips in here. You could even stamp, the little tiny tulips in there with some stems and leaves and then add this at the bottom. So it looks like these are standing up in the field. So that's an idea. There is another tulip image here that you could use as well. So lots of options on how to decorate the inside of your card. And then on the envelope, I will do some tulips on the envelope as well. Yeah. So there you go. Perfect for the first day of spring. Thanks, Carol. Yeah, I think it's a perfect card. That is so funny how I was talking about daffodils and ended up making tulips. Erica, really. Okay. Now, I just received my paper pumpkin kit last week, so I want to start going online and opening up the box and making some of the designs online. So I'm going to come as a surprise. I might do it tonight online. I'm going to try and do that every time I get a paper pumpkin kit. So if you want to join me, just watch the post. I'll notify you ahead of time. And I want to thank Carol Ferguson for your recommendation for my little magnet. I got this in the mail, I think, on Friday. I absolutely love it. The magnets stick everywhere. So now I can just put my dies on there and not lose them all over my desk. and it's a small format, so it doesn't take up a lot of room. So thanks so much for that recommendation. Yeah, Amazon, and it wasn't expensive at all. So there you go. So go and have a wonderful day, and hopefully I'll see you again during the week. I've got my, of course, Case the Caddy on Thursday night, and I'm doing my Stamp It Saturdays at 11. Yeah, lots of stuff. So thanks once again. If you have any questions, let me know. Have a super day and a super week. Bye for now. Oh, again, I've done it. Look at that. I just wanted to say, I want to come back. I'm trying to get into this habit where I come back and say goodbye. Bye, ladies. Thanks again. Yeah, and if you make a card based on this card sketch, please do post it in the comments. I'd love to see what you do. It's always fun to see that you're actually creating and what you come up with, and it's fun to see the different color combinations. I know, Carol, you'll probably be dragging out some tulip photos to put on there. Let's see what everyone makes. Okay, bye for now.